Max Gore. Travis Boak.
It was a frustrating week of SuperCoach. Everything went downhill Saturday evening onwards. All the good news came from the NBA, where the Clippers got Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. And as a Clippers fan, I cannot wait for the upcoming season to start. But we'll get back to SuperCoach stuff. Scored 2,247. Surprisingly, only moved down 400 odd spots, sitting outside the top 2,000 only just. So for a really bad week, I will take it. Won 2 out of 3 league matchups. Unfortunately, the streak in Shorty's league is over. But let's move on to the team. Unfortunately, GWS decided to give Lockie Whitfield another week off, so I was forced to take Griffin Logue's 50 there, but other than that, defense was really solid. Zach Williams, great stuff. Jake Lloyd, great to see him bounce back. Shannon Hearn, solid. Freo kicking 19 behinds definitely helped him, that's for sure. Tom Stewart, solid, and same with Jack Crisp. Although the last couple of weeks it has been a bit annoying. Jack Crisp has gotten 99 the last 2 weeks. Would be nice if he just got that extra point. Would look a lot better to see the ton there, but his last 3 weeks have been really good. A few issues in the midfield. Obviously, Cornelio and Neal, the standouts. Matt Crouch, good. Nat Fife, tough night for him. Rory Sloane, tough second half for Adelaide, but I did expect a lot more from Sloane in a showdown. Mitch Duncan, awful first quarter and just couldn't really get into the game. Hopefully he can bounce back, especially since I just traded him in. Would like to see some results. And with Cripps being out again, had to play Dylan Clark. But all eyes will be on Josh Kelly this week. Solid score, but he did his calf in the fourth quarter, had that iced up. The injury probably cost me my matchup too, but we'll have to see how he pulls up this week. News at the moment doesn't look so good. There'll be more news later on once the results of his scans come out, but I won't be surprised if I have to use my first of 3 injury trades on him. Stephen Cornelio's under an injury cloud as well. The GM of football, Wayne Campbell, said he hyperextended his knee, so we'll have to see how he goes throughout the week and hope he can get up for the game against Richmond. There's injuries all around the place right now, but the midfield in particular, Kelly, Cornelio, Cripps. You never know if Dylan Clark and his job security, he could get dropped at any point. And we got no cover now that Baker and Bewley got dropped. And so did Josh Begley. So it's all worrying situations right now. Lack of bench cover, injuries on field. We're in a tough spot. It always happens. You think once you get the full primo, you can rest for a bit, not have to worry too much. And then that's when all the injuries hit. All your primos get injured. Then it's panic stations once again. Just can't rest in this game. So at this point, I just have to hope for good luck. Hope that players can get up this week. The Rucks, Max Gawn obviously was a lay out. And Brodie Grundy as vice just keeps doing his thing. Great stuff. And in the forward line, Paddy Dangerfield, good to see him get up to face the Dogs and bounce back with a huge score. Rowan Marshall, his past month has been unbelievable. Travis Boak, a very, very lay out with back spasms. And Josh Begley getting dropped would have to be the worst timing. So I copped the donut there, as well as Max Gawn's. Michael Walters, solid in a tough night for the Dockers. Tim Kelly, great first half, but once the Dogs dominated, couldn't really get into the game. And Isaac Heaney, he was everywhere against the Bombers. Great to see. So that will do it for the team. Vice captain and captain this week, I'm not sure who to go with. Brodie Grundy probably takes the vice because he's been extremely reliable throughout the season, so we'll probably just keep the vice on him. Captaincy, I got no clue. I don't know, really. It could go to anyone. Hopefully it goes to a loop, because I don't want to have to worry about it, because there's a lot of question marks around every player. Sloan, maybe, although the Suns did tag Dusty and they kept him to a sub 80. Danger at home against the Saints, but obviously Jack Steele's a factor. Same for Tim Kelly. Rowan Marshall, he's become a legitimate vice captaincy option. I don't know if I have the guts to do it, but he could be an option. I really don't know, honestly. I might go with Lachie Neale. Brisbane are in great form. He's getting back to his best, but hopefully Grundy gets a good enough vice captain score so I don't have to worry about all that. We'll get our best team on field and then cry when we cop the donuts and whatnot. There won't be trades this week, unless of course Josh Kelly is ruled out for a while. I don't want to have to trade him obviously, but if that happens, there's a lot of options. If you're in this situation as well, then I guess we can all take a look at some options. For me, personally, I really want to go with a pod option. Take a risk, try and get up the ranks a bit. But obviously, the top scorers here, McRae. I don't have enough cash for McRae, but if you don't have him, then I guess find a way to get him. It'll be 31.9k. I don't have that, so it won't be McRae. Josh Dunkley, he's another one, but he's not so much of a pod anymore, but could go with him. Bontempelli, of course. I didn't want to go with him last week because 22% have him, so I went with Duncan. Huge pod. He's been very consistent throughout, and of course he pumps out his worst score of the season as soon as I bring him in. Luke Parker, possibly. 3.5% have him. Solid pod. He's been quite a surprise this season, but he did cop a tag, so that might be something to note. Ben Cunnington, he also copped a tag from Jack Steele. Still somewhat of a pod. Been awesome this season. Also another surprise. Oliver as well, but he's not much of a pod, so I probably won't pick him. This is probably the guy I'm quite interested in trading in if I'm forced to trade out Josh Kelly. Josh Kennedy, 1.2% have him. Besides a couple of injury-affected scores, he has been extremely consistent. I did consider trading him in over Mitch Duncan, but a little bit of bias kind of pulled me towards Duncan. I've had him on my radar for weeks, so I just had to go with him. And obviously that cost me 60 points this week, but I definitely trust Mitch Duncan to bounce back. But if I'm forced to trade out Kelly, Josh Kennedy is definitely a guy I'm considering, especially with only 1.2% owning him. Luke Shuey, also gone under the radar a little bit. 3.6% have him. Andrew Gaff as well. Elliot Yeo, all those West Coast mids. Big pods. Taranto, somewhat of a pod, but I probably won't be picking him. Zorko as well, 2.8% have him. And that's probably it for the players I'd be considering, but Josh Kennedy probably top of the list in terms of who I'd trade in Kelly for. But that's my personal preference. Obviously, if you don't have some of these big names like McRae, Bontempelli, Parker, Cunnington, and you really want them in your team, then go for it. But for me, I really want that pod option to try and just get up the ranks a little bit, take a risk, and Josh Kennedy will probably be the guy that I go with. In leagues, in my own league, moved back up to first spot, beating Ross, who had an extra donut, so a bit of good luck there. And in Shorty's league, obviously the streak is over, still a game ahead in first spot, should hopefully stay in the top 4, but a few pad scores cost me there. Duncan, Sloan, Fife, guys that I'd expect to score a lot better, really cost me this week, but luck had to run out at some point. I had been getting really lucky with matchups and all that, so my luck had to run out eventually, but still in a good spot in that league. So that will do it for this video. Hopefully you guys had a much better week than I did. Hopefully team selections are favourable for the side, because I'm going to need all the good luck that I can get heading into this week. But that will do it. See you guys in the next video.